It was a quiet afternoon when Mariah, a 5-year-old kindergartner, walked through the front door of her home with a heavy heart, her small face etched with confusion and pain. The sunlight filtered in through the window, casting warm shadows across the living room floor, but her presence darkened the atmosphere as her mother, Tamara, looked up from her book, sensing something was off. "Hey, baby, how was school today?" Tamara asked, her voice gentle, trying to coax a smile from her daughter. Mariah's eyes welled up with tears, her lips trembling. "The nurse hurt me," Mariah whispered, her voice barely audible, the words hanging in the air like an accusation. Tamara's heart stopped. She dropped the book, her attention immediately focused on her daughter. "What do you mean, sweetie?" she asked, her voice tightening with concern. Mariah wiped her eyes with the back of her hand and sniffled. "The nurse, she hurt me when she gave me the shot." A cold shiver ran down Tamara's spine. Her daughter had never spoken like this before. Tamara's mind raced. What could have happened? Why would a nurse hurt her precious child? The next few moments felt like a blur. Tamara sat Mariah down, her hands shaking as she gently cupped her daughter's face, trying to understand the truth. Mariah explained that the nurse had given her a shot, but it wasn't the usual routine. This time, something felt different. The needle was colder, the nurse's hands were rougher, and it hurt in a way Mariah couldn't explain. The nurse's voice had been harsh, and Mariah couldn't help but feel like something was wrong. Tamara's mind was racing, her protective instincts kicking in. She tried to stay calm, but inside, every motherly instinct screamed for action. "Did you tell your teacher or anyone else, baby?" she asked, her voice steady but her thoughts spiraling. Mariah nodded, but her small face crumpled in distress. "I tried, Mama. I tried to say it hurt, but no one listened." The words stung. Tamara had been in the classroom when Mariah had been dropped off, smiling and laughing, her usual joyful self. But now, hearing this, everything shifted. Tamara stood up quickly, her hands trembling. "We're going to the school," she declared, her voice firm with purpose. Her daughter's safety, her happiness, her well-being were more important than anything else. No one would dismiss her baby's pain. Not today. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the school. Tamara's heart pounded in her chest as she walked through the hallway, her mind still processing what her daughter had said. As she approached the nurse's office, she could feel her stomach tighten with every step. When she knocked, the door opened, and Nurse Thompson, a woman in her mid-40s with a stern expression, greeted them. "Yes, Mrs. Harris, what can I do for you?" Nurse Thompson's tone was neutral, almost cold, as if she were unaware of the storm about to break. "Mariah tells me that you hurt her today during her visit to your office," Tamara said, her voice unwavering but filled with the urgency of a mother who would not be ignored. Nurse Thompson's face paled slightly, but she didn't back down. "I gave her the usual vaccinations," the nurse replied, her voice calm but detached. "It's routine." Tamara's eyes narrowed. "My daughter tells me it wasn't routine. She said it hurt more than usual and that you didn't listen when she asked you to stop." Nurse Thompson looked at her for a long moment, and for a brief second, Tamara thought she saw a flicker of guilt. But it was gone before she could be sure. "Well," Nurse Thompson said slowly, "sometimes children exaggerate or get scared. We do our best to make them comfortable, but it's never easy." Tamara's mind reeled with the implication. Was this nurse really dismissing her child's pain as something trivial? Something that could be ignored? No, not her daughter. Not today. "Mariah doesn't exaggerate, and you didn't make her comfortable," Tamara said firmly. "She deserves respect and compassion, just like every other child in your care." There was a long, tense silence. Then, unexpectedly, Nurse Thompson's demeanor softened. "I see," she said quietly. I didn't mean to upset her. I'm sorry." But Tamara wasn't done. She wasn't leaving until she was certain that no child would ever feel this way again. Apologies aren't enough. What are you going to do about it? Nurse Thompson hesitated, clearly unsure of how to proceed. Tamara stood tall, her gaze unwavering. I want a written apology to my daughter. I want changes to how you approach children when administering shots, and I want you to ensure that this never happens again to another child in this school. Nurse. Thompson looked as if she might protest, but something in Tamara's voice, her words, made her reconsider. She nodded, her shoulders slumping with defeat. I will do what I can, she muttered, clearly beaten by Tamara's resolve. As they left the nurse's office, Tamara's emotions were a whirlpool of relief, anger, and sorrow. She had fought for her daughter and had made a stand for something bigger: compassion, kindness, and the truth. She couldn't change what had happened, but she had made sure it wouldn't happen again. Later that night, as Mariah snuggled into bed, her small face softened with exhaustion, Tamara sat beside her. She kissed her daughter's forehead and whispered, "You were brave today, baby. So brave. And remember, no matter what, there is always someone out there who will listen to you, who will hear your pain and help you heal." Mariah smiled sleepily. "I'm glad you listened, Mama." Tamara smiled back, her heart swelling with love. "I'll always listen, sweet girl." The next day, something unexpected happened. The school sent a letter home, not just apologizing for the incident, but also announcing that they were implementing a new system for ensuring that all children received proper, compassionate care during medical visits. They had listened, and they were changing for the better. That morning, Mariah went to school with a new sense of confidence. She wasn't just the child who had been hurt. She was the one who had stood up and made a difference, who had found her voice, and it was that voice, that simple act of speaking up, that would change everything for her. For the first time in her young life, Mariah knew that kindness could triumph, that standing up for herself and for others could create ripples of change in the world. As Tamara watched her daughter head out the door, she realized that sometimes the smallest voices have the power to create the most powerful echoes. Call to action. If you believe in the power of kindness and standing up for what's right, leave a comment below and share your story. Don't forget to like and subscribe. For more heartwarming tales that celebrate courage, hope, and the unspoken power of kindness.